Season 2. And as suggested by a member of the comments, this is Power Rangers Legendary Pirate Armada. And I'll be too lazy to edit that onto the opening, so just keep that in mind. We open with the pirates and the Mega Team hanging out, and Jake suggests we all have a Halloween party, given that Halloween's coming up, and Marvelous is like, nah, I'm good, and Orion's like, what's a Halloween? And then the pirates all take Orion to a Halloween shop. But when they get there, the Halloween store transforms into a bounty hunter from the Zangak and traps all the pirates except Marvelous. Note that this bounty hunter is a unused suit from Gokaiger. And so the bounty hunter forces the pirates to play a game of Jeopardy. And the topic is Power Ranger trivia. And the guys with the highest score get to leave, and the ones with the lowest get taken back to the Zangak. And this is our excuse to have a clip show and tell the audience about what the pre-Zyuranger suits are. But then the Mega Team and Marvelous as RPM Red saves the team, and they defeat the bounty hunter, and then later we have a team up of the legendary Wild Samurai Megazord and the Goseiger Great Grand Megazord. And then at the end, Marvelous decides to join the Halloween party, and he decides to go as a dog because reference. But comedically, Joe also wanted to go as a dog. And Donnie. And Orion. And then the girls wanted to go as superheroes. And then all the Mega Team laugh at this cheesy ending. Navi gives a prediction. There's some treasure to be found. There's some lives to be saved. 8 Rangers looking for the same stone heart. The pirates, except Orion, are there, and they're like, huh? But then Orion calls up, and he's like, hey, there's a teacher at the school who needs our help. Then the pirates are introduced to Mac and Rose from Operation Overdrive. Remember, Rose was Mr. Burley's substitute in Season 1. And they're asking for their help to go down to the Amazon to retrieve a stone heart. And why none of the rest of the Overdrive team is here is because of budget reasons. I mean, they're busy or something. So everyone gets on the Red Galleon and we sail down to the Amazon. And there's some jungle exploring. And then they come across some X-Borgs. And Joe, Bailey, Donnie, and Orion stay behind to deal with them as everyone else runs ahead. And Orion says, let's go ninja on them. And then he turns into Samurai Storm as everyone else turns into Aquatar alien ninjas. Comedically, there's fighting. Meanwhile, Lindsay, Marvelous, Mac, and Rose are running ahead. But then they're ambushed by Levira and some X-Borgs and Bruisers. But she doesn't want to fight, and she explains why the Zangak is in the Amazon, because earlier that day, Vakar was complaining that they lost the resurrection powers of Davy Jones, and Damaris keeps disappearing, in which the audience knows he's excavating Davy Jones's ship to turn into the Colossus Project, tasked to him by the Emperor. But Vakar doesn't know about this, and Levira talks about that they picked up a similar energy to Davy Jones's ship in a heartstone located in a temple in the Amazon of Venezuela, and they think that they could use it and resurrect Moltor. So the Zangak flew down earlier than the Pirates and Overdrive team, and they resurrected Moltor, but the heart only resurrected most of him. So he kind of went insane from this, and he's been setting most of the Amazon on fire. So Levira is calling for a temporary truce and alliance. The pirates go all overdrive because anniversary and instrumental to Overdrive's theme plays as they fight Moltor, and they rip out the Heartstone from Moltor, which defeats him, and they give it to Mac and Rose, and I don't know, they take it to be put in a museum or something. Then back on the flagship of the Zanyak, and Vakar is complaining to Olivera about how much of a waste of resources this all was, and how Emperor Daddy's empire doesn't have a bottomless checkbook when it comes to resources. And then Vakar's new servant walks in with a new drink he made for him. And Vakar's like, well, thank you. Wait a minute. I asked for cube ice, not crushed. This drink is ruined. And he tosses it and smashes it against the new servant's face. And Vakar demands him be tossed out into space. And Damaris is like, Your Grace, you shouldn't just do that. And Snootus is like,
why not? He's the crown prince. He can do whatever he wants.
And Vakar's like, yeah, I am the crown prince. I can do whatever I want. X-Borg's tossed the servant into space for giving me crushed ice. It's a pretty average day. The pirates, except Orion and Lindsay, are just kind of doing what they do. Bailey's holding Navi, and Joe's training, and Marvelous is looking at an old photo of him, Rufus, and Burden during the Crimson Corsair phase. And then Lindsay comes in with a Zanyak newspaper and shows that everyone's bounties increased. And Donnie's still upset that the photo doesn't look like him, and his bounty is much, much lower than everyone else's. But oh no, there's a Zanyak bounty hunter out, and he's got the power to steal people's ambition. So the pirates head down, turn to RPM, but Orion has a dilemma because, RPM had 2 Six Rangers. Until Gosei tells Orion to hit 0001 on his Morpher, which activates creative mode, which basically gives us an excuse to have Bandai make brand new suits for the series, and give an explanation for him making RPM gold-silver. But oh no, the bounty hunter stole the ambition from the pirates, except Orion and Donnie, and the Mega Team. The 2 nerds take the teams back to the command center, and we have a moment where Donnie starts thinking out loud to Gosei that he wishes he was more like Orion, just for Gosei to comfort Donnie by saying Orion thought the same about him. Orion wanted to be more like Donnie. And then the 2 make up, and there's friendship. But then the bounty hunter attacks again, so the 2 head out. Donnie turns into Power Rangers Prism, and then has the idea for Orion to take all the Six Ranger keys and use creative mode with them. And he does, and Orion's like, hey, look, it actually worked. And Donnie's like, ah! And then Orion's like, oh yeah, right, we're in the middle of a fight. And then he activates the anchor key by inserting it into the bottom of his legendary morpher, saying Power of 6. And then, Pirate Silver! Gold Mode! Which gives us our Battleizer for the season. And he takes out the bounty hunter with a final wave! Legendary Dream. Everyone's ambition is restored, and the episode ends with Orion and Donnie laughing and smiling that Orion got his first bounty, and it's still higher than Donnie's.